Hi guys, my name is Carl and welcome back to my channel. Now, have you been applying for jobs but have made no headway? Now, have you by any chance been using JobBank.gc.ca to look for these jobs? If yes, then I'm here to tell you, stop wasting your time. Now, in the next few minutes, I'm going to be sharing with you why I think JobBank is not the best website to use to look for jobs, and why I personally think JobBank is just a waste of everybody's time. Now, before I moved to Canada some years ago, I started looking for employment here, as I knew it was possible to be able to get employment even from back home. There are people that were able to secure jobs from their home country by applying online for these jobs, and these employers would call them and interview them. And then if everything works out, they're able to get the necessary documents for their work permit applications and then move to Canada on work permit. So before I moved to Canada, I started applying for jobs as well. And I did a bit of research to find out what job boards or websites were best to use. And that's when I found JobBank. Now, JobBank is actually Canada's national employment service. You know, it helps job seekers to find jobs and also helps employers to find new workers. That's it. So I thought if JobBank is Canada's, national employment service, then it would be the best place to actually apply for jobs. So I started applying for jobs, sending applications, emailing employers, and all of that. But after sending hundreds and hundreds of applications, guess what? I had zero hits. Absolutely zero. I had no feedback and none of the employers reached out to me. So it got me thinking, is it my resume or is it the job site? So this is when I started doing some background research to find out why I was not getting any hits after applying for jobs for so long. Now, one of the things that I found was that, well, it is true that when you move to Canada, you need to be able to adjust your resume to be able to suit the Canadian job market. Okay, so you do not just come with whatever resume format you have from your home country and start using that to apply for jobs. You need to be able to tailor your resume so that the Canadian employers and the systems that they use to review these resumes are able to actually recognize your talent, and then you are able to get some interviews along the line. Now, this is very true, but I did have some bit of information before I actually started applying. So I had made sure that my resume had been tailored to the Canadian job market, but I wasn't getting any hits. So here's what I found out again. Now, most people would say that the jobs that are posted on JobBank are scams. Here's what I found out. The jobs are not scams, not necessarily scams, okay? But another thing that I found out is that most of the jobs posted on JobBank are what we call LMIA jobs. So labor market impact assessment jobs. So these are the kind of jobs that employers can bring in foreign workers to fill in these roles. However, it is not really a straightforward process. Employers need to be able to prove that these jobs were advertised and Canadians and people living in Canada were first given the opportunity to apply for these jobs. And for some reason, their employers were still not able to find a suitable candidate. So then they bring in a foreign worker. But there needs to be proof. So there needs to be proof, one, that the employers actually advertised the job, people actually applied for the job, but they just didn't find a suitable candidate that fits the job description. Okay, so one thing that I realized, which was quite interesting and shocking at the same time, is that most of these employers only use JobBank to fulfill that government requirement. That's it. So most of these employers already have someone or already have a suitable candidate that they want to hire. But in order to fulfill the government requirements, they advertise the job anyway. So guess what? It's just a waste of everybody's time. You're applying for the job, but the employer already has somebody lined up to fill that role, and they are just putting the job out there to fulfill a government requirement. So that's what I found out. Now, hear me out. There are a lot of people that are going to say that JobBank worked for them, and that is fine. I'm not here to run down JobBank. I'm just saying that it did not work for me, and this is what I found out. There are people that were able to get jobs on JobBank and were able to come or move to Canada through the jobs that they found on JobBank. Okay, there are people that say that and attest to that, and that is okay. All I'm saying is, if you are putting all your hopes on JobBank, do not put all your eggs in one basket. It is good to have other job boards and other websites as well that you apply for jobs through. So in the next few minutes, I'll be sharing with you my top 3 job boards or job websites that I use to find jobs. And I used the exact same resume that I was using on JobBank that was not getting any hits on these websites, and I was able to get some interviews and get some jobs as well. Now, here are my top 3. Number 1 that really worked for me is Indeed.ca. Yes, Indeed. It's very popular. A lot of people know it. They're very credible, and that is one that really worked for me as well. Now, on Indeed, their platform is pretty simple. You set up a profile and, fill out a few details to make your profile complete, and then you're on your way to applying for jobs that fit what you are looking for. Now, I know that currently there are a lot of people that would bash Indeed a little bit because there have been many reports of scam jobs popping up on Indeed these days. And I can also attest to that. If you watched my video where I spoke about some of the easiest scams in Canada, I spoke about employment applications being one of the ways where scammers try to get you. So on Indeed, there've been a couple of times where the jobs that I applied to turned to be scam jobs. Now, how did I know? Some of the things that you need to be aware of is that if the employer is contacting you outside of working hours and at odd hours, 10 p.m., 11 p.m., an employer is chatting with you on WhatsApp, that's a red flag right there. So in my case, some of these unscrupulous employers wanted to have an interview only on Telegram. Some wanted to have an interview only on WhatsApp. Some wanted me to fill in forms that would require me to put in my SIN number even before we had discussed an offer, or even before we had actually had the interview. So those are some of the red flags that you need to look out for. So when you're applying for jobs, whether on Indeed or whether on any other website that you feel it's credible, please stay smart and stay focused, as there could be scammers in there posting some fake jobs just so they can get your information as well. So that's just by the way. So the first one that really worked for me was Indeed.ca. Another website that also really worked well for me is Glassdoor. Now, Glassdoor for me at the beginning looked like a very, very complex website and not too user-friendly. But once I really got to using the website, I found out that it was quite easy to use and also very, very helpful. One thing that I must also mention here is that for those of you that would like to apply for jobs on the go, most of these job boards or job websites also have mobile apps. So you can install these apps on your phones, on your tablets or iPads, and you can apply for jobs on the go. So Glassdoor is another one that I found that is really, really helpful and also has legitimate jobs there. Now, like I've mentioned, let me also issue another caution to say on any of these websites, always look out for fake jobs or scam jobs that are just trying to scam you out of your information or something similar. And then the third one that I would really, really recommend is ZipRecruiter. Now, ZipRecruiter is also very, very easy to use. And when I started using ZipRecruiter, it actually jumped up to the very top of my favorite job websites that I use. ZipRecruiter has also been a very, very good one, very helpful. And it's also able to send you some of the job listings directly into your email so you can apply from there. They have an easy apply button that allows you to easily apply to jobs without having to fill in all those tedious forms. And I know some of you would really appreciate that as well. So those are my top 3 that I've used so far that have been very helpful. And also, I believe they might be helpful to you as well. Again, I am not running down JobBank. I'm just saying, do not put all your eggs in one basket. Do not put all your hopes on JobBank as being the only source of getting credible jobs. Just look at other websites, especially if you are a newcomer in Canada. Look at all other websites that you can use and make sure you are actually not limiting yourself. Okay. Now, there are a few that I would like to add in as well. Now, I haven't used any of these that I'm about to mention much or even at all, but I have heard good reviews and read good reviews about them. So it is good to just ship them in here. Now, number one is Simply Hired. Simply Hired has a platform that is kind of similar to Indeed. So the application process is easy, setting up your profile is easy, and you are able to start applying for jobs in less than no time at all. So look at Simply Hired. I think that may also work for you if you're looking for a job. Another website that I used sparingly back in the day was Monster.ca. So Monster also has a very good directory of job listings, so you can also check them out, and sometimes they may have job listings that some of the other websites that we mentioned earlier do not have. So that's the advantage of not putting all your eggs in one basket, because you might see something on one job board, but it is not on another job board, so if you're sticking to one, you might be missing out on certain job opportunities that you could have applied for. And then the last one that I'm going to add in here is LinkedIn. Now, personally, I haven't used LinkedIn to apply for jobs, but there are people that have attested to the fact that they got their jobs on LinkedIn. So set up your profile. It also helps you to connect with employers and even people in your current or previous organizations, so you're able to build a network. And then that also makes it easier for employers to, check you out, check out your profile. And then sometimes employers may even reach out to you first on LinkedIn. It happens on the other job boards as well. So LinkedIn is also one that's worth looking at. If you are applying for jobs in Canada, one thing that you must note is that most of the cities and provinces and the federal government itself have their own job boards. Okay, so most of the cities, for example, the city of Toronto has its own job board. So if you go to the city of Toronto website, there's a section where they post jobs, and you will find a whole list of jobs there that you can apply for. And you are guaranteed the fact that these jobs are actually legitimate jobs posted by the city itself. So you're able to apply to these jobs directly rather than having to go through another job board like Indeed or Simply Hired or Glassdoor and the others. Okay, you're able to apply directly to these cities. City of Vaughan has their own job board. So most of the cities, when you go to their websites, they post the jobs there. So you're able to apply to those jobs directly. So if you're interested in working for the city, if you're interested in working for any of the cities, just go and check out their websites and you can find some job listings there as well. So don't rule that out. Now, some of the provinces, or even most of the provinces, even have their own job boards as well. So most of the provinces, for example, Saskatchewan has its own job board. That's saskjobs.ca. So if you are interested in moving to Saskatchewan, if you are already moving there and you're looking for a place where you can find credible jobs, that is one place where you can start looking for jobs, and you can find jobs in Saskatchewan that you can apply to. If you are in Ontario and you are interested in applying for public service jobs or public sector jobs, you can go to www.gojobs.gov.on.ca/jobs. Okay, so you are able to find a lot of jobs in Ontario if you are interested in moving here, or you're already here and you're looking for these kind of public sector jobs. Okay, again, this is run by the province itself, so you're guaranteed that the jobs there are not scam jobs. Okay, and they're actually legitimate jobs that you can apply to. One thing that I've noticed is that most times the job application process takes a bit more time. You may have to create a profile, you may have to verify your email address, come back and fill out a whole, form, a profile, but it's worth it. it's worth it, you know, because in the end, you're applying for something that is legitimate and can be a rewarding career, either with the city or with the provincial governments themselves. And another one that is worth mentioning is Alberta. If you are interested in finding a job in Alberta, you can always go to the government's website, www.alberta.ca/find a job, and you'll be able to search for some of the jobs that are available there as well. Recently, Alberta was in the news as a lot of people were moving from different provinces all the way to Alberta. There are a lot of people that moved from Ontario to Alberta, so it's worth looking at. Alberta is also welcoming and a very nice place from what I've heard so far. Now, if you're also interested in working for the federal government, you can also go to Canada.ca and go to the job section and find some of the federal government jobs there as well that you can apply to. So I just wanted to share this with you. If you are applying for jobs, first thing, make sure that you have tuned up your resume to the Canadian job market, okay? That is one thing that hurts a lot of people because they have not tuned their CVs or their resumes to the Canadian job market. They get no hits at all. It doesn't matter the number of websites they use, they just do not get any hits at all. So in order to avoid that and ensure that you do not waste a lot of time, you know, just applying for jobs without getting any hits, just make sure that you have updated your CV, you have tuned up your CV. I keep saying CV, but CV, resume, whichever, just make sure you've tuned it up and made it suitable to the Canadian job market, so that the software that these employers use to review the resumes are able to pick up your resumes as well. Else you may be missing out on huge opportunities just because you have not tuned up or upgraded your resume yet. So good luck on your job application. I wish you success and hope that you land a very good job that would make you happy. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel, as it goes a long way to help with the channel. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for the support so far. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Share, like, and subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next one.